There's so many men that pretend to be women in crypto.
That is so crazy. Like, get them out of the group.
Right? It kind of felt like a little culty.
There was the controversy from Dubai.
To be honest, like crypto is pretty unsafe.
Someone had access to my seed phrase and they stole like $100,000 worth of NFTs. Just exactly a year later and it was worth $500,000.
Hey everyone, my name is Karine. I'm from Nibiru Chain and I'm here with
Marakita,
Alex,
Keisha.
And today we're doing a mukbang. We're here in Buenos Aires at Death Connect. How are you guys feeling today?
Hot.
Hot, yeah, it's so hot out, but...
Is it though?
But not complaining. I'm definitely not complaining about the heat.
Yeah, from Canada, I'm sure.
I'd love to hear more about what you guys do in the space. I do the ecosystem part at Nibiru Chain. I'm in charge of onboarding a lot of the DeFi community, also doing more content.
like content's definitely kind of my thing as well. It's what kind of, when I first came into the space and I was like, oh, what can I do here now that I know that I want to work in the space? I was like, okay, yeah, content. And things have like really changed from when I first got involved in like 2022, like AI and all of this stuff. So definitely moving more into like a sort of brand positioning and strategy role rather than just like the long form content. But yeah, content's
I do founder relations at Aptos. I started there a long time ago, actually. I've been at Aptos for 2.5 years. And I started doing ecosystem, same as you, very onboarding, top of funnel, having all these teams. And now I'm more focusing on founders. And so it kind of sits between ecosystem and marketing in a way.
I do the Bear Baddies, so if you don't know what that is, it's a community for women. We do a lot of onboarding, education. We do events that are like palatable to non-crypto native people, obviously specifically targeting women. So the community is open to any woman to join. We've done products, ways to make DeFi simpler, ways to make wallet simpler, working on ways for easier onboarding and making crypto fun and exciting.
Well, feel free to start eating. What we have here is a whole Argentinian spread. I did my best. I'm not from here, so we have some potato pancakes. I'm not sure the actual names. We have empanadas, some steak, and milanese. Milanesa. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, everyone dig in. Whatever you want to start with.
I have a piece of steak, I think.
Yeah.
I'll just cut it.
So how did you guys actually get into Web3? How did your journey begin?
Mine started in January of 2021. I had a friend who was like super incessant on getting me into crypto. So I bought Bitcoin, I bought Ethereum, and then he added me to like a group chat and there was like 10 of us and it was all his like in real life friends and he put us all in a group chat, all the people he was like trying to get into crypto. We started buying like NFTs together, getting into coins together. He was like educating us and like helping, providing the steps. And then we started buying NBA Top Shots together. And then I got into like this community called Olympus. I put all my money in the top in March.
Oh my God.
Lost all my money and then I was like really forced to become a community member. And then
Forced is crazy.
I was literally forced. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I've never lost obviously that much money.
Everyone in this industry has a story like that, so you're not alone.
Yeah. I find communities one of the biggest reasons why people stay. Like I'm the only person left out of all the people that got onboarded around the same time.
Oh, really?
And I found my voice, I found my community in like the Olympus ecosystem. It made it easier to like make that tweet when you have like a little bit of an audience, whether it's like 1 or 2 people liking a tweet better than 0. Or everybody's buying this meme coin or trying out for this pre-sale, maybe I should do a little bit too, right? Like a community makes it easier, more palatable, it feels like, to take that risk. So that's how like my initial kind of start was.
And the person who onboarded you is still in the space? Or
Yeah, not as much though. And it's so funny because his name on Twitter back then was Non-Fungible Ton. So he's like, you should make your Twitter name Non-Fungible K. And I was like, okay, that's perfect. And then I ended up working for a couple NFT companies later on. So it's almost like foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I didn't have anyone around me in real life who was into crypto at all. Like the classic pandemic thing, like I think a lot of us just when we were locked down, just spending suddenly a lot more time on the internet. So that's how I ended up going down like the Bitcoin rabbit hole a little bit. It wasn't actually until a few years later that I sort of discovered the whole Ethereum thing. And at the time, like my background was in like climate justice, like completely different thing. And someone was suggesting to me to work in DAOs. And it was just through that I just discovered this whole world. And what I really liked about it was like, instead of like protesting and just being like kind of against stuff, it was like, oh, we can just go out and like build things, no one being able to shut down you having the right to own your own assets and this kind of thing. So that's kind of how I got involved.
I'm a little bit of a mix of you two. I love money, and so let's be real. During the pandemic, there was so much time to kill, and I started to look into trading because I knew a couple people who were traders like that. The very first coin I bought was XRP during the lawsuit, actually, and I held one good lesson. No, I was never part of the army because I realized it's a bunch of 42-year-old dudes. Then from that on, I started to buy a couple coins and started trading a little bit. And then I met people after that who were very involved. But you know, when you're new, you don't know who's a good person and not.
Yeah.
So I won't name names, but I started to be involved with a project. And then at the downfall of it, I realized that they're one of the biggest scammers in the space, like known to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I even know which, I don't know, maybe it could be any number, I suppose.
It's on Solana. Mind you, the project is still live, but it was taken over because it was one of the really big ones. So when I realized the bad association, I was like, this is not good. We were looking into which chain we should build on top of. And Aptos and Sui were like coming off at that time, so still pre-mainnet. We met the team and stuff, and so we decided to build on Aptos at that point in time. And so they knew me as a founder, and at some point they asked me to join the team internally in ecosystem, and so that's how I ended up.
Nice.
I was really lucky because I was always in the creative industries. I know a lot of people in the music industry. I worked in fashion and stuff like that, and I actually got to work with the Weeknd's team.
Oh,
Yeah. With
Canadian. I know.
Girl, believe me, I know. We worked with his whole team. It was really cool. It was a collaboration with Binance, actually, working on creating an NFT. And so that was kind of the first step, working on a project that was meant for Web 2-ish people, but utilizing Web 3. So
Yeah, for myself, I think that my journey is probably closest to yours. Because I started at Protocol Labs because I was interested in the whole decentralized like ethos of Web3, just not having like one entity own your data. So that's kind of where I got into blockchain. I thought it was just really interesting technology. And after that, that's when I started to get more into DeFi and trading because it was exposed to this like whole new world. So yeah, back then I was building the Filecoin network. Once I got my first like tokens of like Filecoin, I'm like, okay, like what am I supposed to do with like Filecoin tokens? And then I was like swapping it to Bitcoin and just like doing some trades on my own. So that's how I got into it. DeFi work that I do now, I think that's more aligned with my interests in terms of like personal finance because I've always been interested in that.
I think that's like the great thing about crypto is like there's literally so many niches. Like if you don't understand this thing or this thing doesn't align with you, there's literally any niche times like 1,000.
Yeah, and you're constantly learning. Like there's so much stuff to digest constantly, so many new technologies that you can like pick up and learn. Like I feel like there's something new popping up like every week.
100%.
when was that? When did you get in?
Oh, that was just out of school in 2022. So I've only been in the space for about 4 years. In university, I actually studied like health and disease. But I had a lot of friends that are in computer science, and everybody was talking about IPFS and like immutable data. So that's why I thought it was really interesting. There's a lot of use cases for even certain data storage for like medicine to always keep those records safe, like cold storage. So that's why I was interested to go into that.
I think was it South Korea did their COVID vaccine on the blockchain, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
And people didn't even know that.
That's what helped me actually, like when I first started getting into crypto and like really trying to wrap my head around it, is it was like if mainstream adoption is going to happen and this is like the digital future, NFTs like were the thing that made it click. Because it's like people love to collect stuff, but then there's also so many different use cases for NFTs. I don't even think we've really fully seen it. Things like the vaccine passports and stuff like that are usually NFTs, like the verification for the designer stuff that they're starting to do now, which just makes so much sense.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing more decentralized identity stuff like in the future, because it really does make things a lot easier when you have your name just like linked to this piece of technology, or you don't have to be scattering looking around for like all your documents all the time.
And for agents as well, like I was listening to a talk just the other day and they were talking about using NFTs as a way of like securing identities for.
That's also why like ZK proofs, right? Like it's the first really big decentralized identity that's also really private, right? Or the idea of it.
Would you guys say that you're like bullish on ZK chains overall?
I think I don't know enough. I understand though what like ZK proof is and how you can use that, but I don't actually specifically know enough about the chains.
If it accomplishes that goal, yeah, I'm bullish.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure. You could say that
About
anything. You're like, oh, I have a pipe dream for this one.
What are you guys like most excited for in the future of Web3 in general?
I think like the crossover between AI and crypto is really interesting. We're going to get to the point with agents. They're going to need to be able to transact between them, right? And like, I think crypto rails is like going to be a necessary part of the infrastructure to get kind of agents working together autonomously. So I think that's going to be really interesting.
I do hope so. It's just like what does concern me is like how much infrastructure can we like reasonably build, and are we going to be able to make it faster than the AWSs of the world?
Right.
Like who's gonna get there first? Honestly,
Double zeros on that.
With actually product that's on Aptos. That's how they're working on the data side. Shelby is a data storage solution whose competition is AWS and Google Cloud. And that's why Double Zero is working on it, because they're working on the very first layer of that with Jump as well. So that's, I think, interesting.
It's really interesting.
Because I think, to be honest, to me, there's very little interesting things in the space happening lately. I think it's kind of depressing even. Because I feel like when you've been in this space for a couple years, you realize that where you were there and today, there's not much advancement. And that's very frustrating to me because we always talk about being in a very fast-paced and always evolving space. But I'm like, are we evolving if we're kind of running in circles? I don't know.
I feel like the more you go in an industry, the harder it is to make those advancements because it just means that you're evolving as a whole.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've seen a lot of things that were exciting or that I was excited about back then actually come to real fruition. So now I'm a little bit more bullish on things that seem more boring, like data storage, for example, and then payments. But back in the days, I feel like it was so easy to onboard into crypto because it was so fun.
Yeah, and you were so bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, excited to learn, curious. There was so much novel stuff happening, right? I think I'm excited to see more projects that are really obviously the beautiful thing about crypto, right, is it democratizes access to financial instruments, whatever that might be, there's over 6 million households in the US that are unbanked. A lot of people usually think of third world countries or impoverished countries, that they are the ones that need crypto. Istanbul is a big user of USDT because of their economy, right? There's so many different reasons that people can be unbanked. It could be because it's really hard for the government to get a bank, because your currency doesn't work. You could be in an abusive relationship. You could also be turned away, in terms of financial instruments, investing. A lot of people face a lot of roadblocks in making that easier. And you've seen how Robinhood was kind of democratizes the access to buying shares. You don't need to go have a meeting with your mutual fund. When I started in crypto, right, I was trying to take out my money from a mutual fund. It took me 3 weeks. And the guy said, I have to book a call with you before I can do that. And then he didn't book the call for 3 weeks. And so I just feel we don't have, there's a lot of projects that are doing it, but I think we still have a long way to go in terms of really creating things that make it easier for a lot of these people that don't have access to this.
To me, having custody over those operations is so important. That's why I really like crypto. But some people get into the space, think that there's crypto is very unsafe. So they see it as an opposite thing. Or to me, I see crypto as almost safety because I'm in control of my assets. Whereas the average Web2 person is oh, I'd rather give that away to a centralized entity because there's they feel that it's safer because they can call up the bank, they can go in person, they can deal with that. I don't know, I think there is still a gap that needs to be made in between of we have to have the onboarding experience a lot smoother in terms of logging in, passwords, losing your security keys, all of this, for them to understand the value of self-custody.
It'll be really interesting. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet because fucking Cloudflare was down for half the day. But the Aave app, that seems that's going to be kind of a really nice maybe entry point for people who are sort of newer to crypto. So that'll be interesting to see.
To be honest, crypto is pretty unsafe. When my friends who are not financially super savvy talk to me about it, I'm not 100% confident to tell them, put your money there, because I'm girl, if you lose your private keys, it's over. And it's gonna happen. It's so easy to get hacked. You have a lot of, sometimes it's not your own wallet that's gonna get hacked, but it's a protocol where your money is. And then there's all these scams, and then I wouldn't say crypto is safe, me personally, as of today.
Someone had access to my seed phrase and they stole $100,000 worth of NFTs back then. And then
that hurts.
Yeah, and then these NFTs were a part of an airdrop almost exactly a year later, and it was worth $500,000.
Oh, fuck.
So that was pretty crazy. I guess that's what you give up, right? You're trading something in to be able to have all this access or the freedom to kind of explore. You're obviously trading in a lot of the security. But I mean, some people obviously could argue that in certain countries, or even look in Silicon Valley, that bank that went on a bank run. Sometimes there is things that happen in crypto that happen in real life. But they don't have those, maybe the brand reputation, but it is still obviously much more common in crypto, and it is your responsibility. And that is a big thing, that if you're the one that messes it up, you obviously have to live with that. Right?
You can't sue anyone.
It's a very hard thing to live with that. So I can see why it's hard.
Do you feel over that? Or is it one of those things that it still
comes back. It still comes up sometimes, a lot. But the thing is for me, it led to the baddies. It was a Barachain NFT collection before there was a chain. and I had posted the fact that they were stolen, and that was like the cascade of domino effects that led to the baddies being born. Before the baddies existed, that was like a really hard couple of months, and even still, like obviously when the airdrop came and you're like, that is literally $500,000. Obviously I wouldn't change anything for the world, because obviously the baddies is like way better than those NFTs would have ever been, and anything like that.
Yeah.
Valid, like
So something like really bad turns into something really
Yeah,
beautiful.
but it is hard.
Question though, like being on chain, you should be able to see publicly where this went.
Yeah, it was someone had my seed phrase, and they used one of my other wallets to fund the wallet. Like, so they sent me my own money so they could sell it. They actually cashed out to Coinbase. And I never really had a way to like bring it up the chain, you know? And I've been holding on to those for a couple years, like when they were worth
That's
nothing.
painful.
And it, oh my God. And I had like, cause I lost all that money when I first started in crypto, and it did come back eventually, like 6 months later. But like, sometimes it's really hard. You can't even look at yourself in the mirror, right? Like, I almost feel like I'm like just desensitized sometimes to loss, because you're like, well, I've lost literally everything. You'll come back from it, hopefully.
So
Damn.
how do you guys like the spread so far?
Good.
yeah.
Good. What's your favorite thing? Have you guys tried empanadas?
Haven't tried
I've
that.
ate so many empanadas in the
Oh,
past
really?
2 weeks, like so many.
I had so much steak in the last 3 days.
Like,
This is actually only my second Argentinian
Same.
steak. I had one at Tomahawk like a couple days ago, and that one was really good, but this is like my second one.
Okay.
Obviously they do it really well.
Yeah, like the beef here is really nice.
Oh,
Like you can
it's
tell
really
the quality
good.
is amazing. I'm not really sure what I'm eating right now, but it definitely tastes like cheese.
That is cheese. They have these things in restaurant. You have like a whole melt. I think it's provolone or something.
Oh no way!
Oh,
Is
it's
it
great.
just cheese?
No, it's very hard to cut.
Oh, I thought it was like a tortilla.
No. I also wanted to ask you guys about how did you go about finding your community in the space? For me, like it was amazing meeting you girls, because now I actually have friends whenever I travel and go to conferences. We can ask each other questions about like, hey, have you seen this protocol? What do you think about it?
Oh, you guys are chewing. I'll start. I finished my chew. Obviously, I found that community that I mentioned earlier, but it took me so long of watching the Discord go by every day and feeling like you're approaching on a conversation. And then I had to convince them that I was real and I wasn't somebody's I wasn't a bot. I thought I had like found a community. And obviously when the baddies started, like I really found a community. And when we did like the t-shirts at ETH Denver in 2024, so many women are like, we've never had anything marketed specifically, explicitly. Nobody could even pretend it wasn't marketed just towards us. And then from there, obviously there was the controversy, I'll put that in quotation marks, from Dubai like a couple months later. And that really caused all of the women to like band together. And it obviously opened up a conversation, like a door about, you could wear sweatpants and a turtleneck and go to a conference and not even try it that day, but just because you're a woman, people assume, like, are you a +1? Are you paid to be here? How much? Like, you know, it's the assumption. So that started a really big conversation, and that's where the community really started to come together and really like stick together. That's where the community really started.
Yeah, we really like
form.
owe that to the Bear Guys of like opening up that space for women and doing more to like make sure everyone like feels heard and safe in crypto. So thank applause for that.
Obviously there's assumptions, but I think you should be able to present yourself however you want to present yourself in the space without an assumption being made that you shouldn't be taken seriously.
Yeah.
But obviously women in business, women in a lot of male dominated fields have to face that same issue, but we're in an industry where like nobody takes themselves seriously, right? Like people present in so many different ways. They wear whatever they want to wear to the conferences. They have anon profile pictures and they say crazy things online, right? So I think it just shouldn't be any different. And the variations of femininity that you can express.
Yeah, for sure.
Hope you're done. Hope you're done chewing now.
I guess like my first few communities were like SheFi was a big one. It was just nothing like the Barra Baddies when we were in
You're just
that-
pumping me up.
Huh?
You're just pumping me up.
No, like when we like
She should.
when I first met Keisha.
Brussels, right?
Brussels, yeah. And that was like my first international crypto conference. I didn't know anyone. I was like actually recovering from being really sick.
It was like something not good.
Yeah, it was not good. So I was like not really in like the best place ever. And like Keisha is just so, it's not like common that like a founder takes the time to like make you feel so personally welcomed and like pumps you up. Like you just had so much love for like everyone who walked through the door. Yeah, and then Thailand and the villa and then Harmony Muses came out of that, like another community, which is where I met you.
Yeah, it's been beautiful seeing like all the new like chain ecosystems be like, yeah, we want to have women's initiatives too. Let's all band together and just make the space better.
100%.
Maybe we can go down and say, what are we most excited for at Dev Connect and for the next year overall? I can start. I'm excited to make new friends, catch up with our partners, have more in-person connections instead of just going to side events and be like, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name? I think my new goal is to just make a few new friends. I don't need to have like 100 plus Telegram messages because those aren't as meaningful. I want to have like this face-to-face connection that goes a lot further in BD.
Yeah, like, I mean, in a way, kind of a similar thing. Because of the people that I've met, maybe with some of them done some co-living or chatting and like accompanying us and like exploring different DeFi opportunities and things. And I feel like I'm in a place where it's like, okay, what do I want to do? Who can I support in what they're doing? And how can I find people who also want to do something similar? We can kind of like build something together, you know, kind of exploring some vibe coding, some content creation and all that good stuff.
I'm thinking. No, it's funny because I was still thinking of the community question.
Ah, yeah.
It's funny hearing all your stories because I don't think I've ever like, oops, so sorry.
Oh, God.
Identified to community the same way you guys do. I've never been in a group of people where I feel like it's a community to me. Ever in crypto. I have my people outside of the space, if that makes sense. But within crypto, I don't think I've ever been in a space where I feel like, oh, I'm so welcome. And that's fine. And that's why people ask me about the beer all the time. And I'm like, I don't know anyone from the group, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you've met 1, 2, 3, 6.
Yeah. All
Six
at
of us
once.
now.
And I have a lot of friends, right, in the space, like women's space, but we're not part of one thing.
Yeah, and that was the hard part. Like I
sure.
really faced that a lot when I first started, and I spent like 90% of my time in Discord, Telegram with all these dudes.
Right.
My girlfriend relationships in real life were so fulfilling, and I just felt so lonely because this, like, they just didn't really cross over. And then you try and share that part of your life with the people outside of it, and it's through no fault of their own. It's hard for them to wrap their head around. So then you kind of like almost isolate yourself.
Yeah.
And so I kind of feel like that's like how it ended up happening, and then. Just wanted to create a space that was just like anybody can come in. As far as you want to go, you can go, and there's people to support you doing that.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. But like, it's the same as you. Like, I have such fulfilling girlfriends. You know, in my life, I'm so blessed with like incredible friends around me. I never felt the need for a crossover.
Yeah.
And then
that's also okay.
Yeah, no, totally. But then I started to, now I travel so much, you know, in the crypto space, and like I have my friends, but we are not part of one group. I'll do the counter argument from someone who's not in a group like you guys. I always found them to be not very inclusive. And I've never felt like super welcomed into these groups, funny enough. Maybe because I'm late to the party, right? So like, because I wasn't at the origin formation of those communities. And it kind of felt like a little culty from the outside.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And so it's kind of like you come in and everybody knows each other and you can't really penetrate that.
Yeah, I can see how it can feel like that.
I feel like people do band together like naturally, so I think we all have to remind ourselves to just say hi to the new person in the room.
I mean, now I'm saying hi to you guys and it's
Right
great.
now you're here.
But you see, if I wasn't here, if you hadn't invited me, I don't think I would have ever...
Yep, just not crossing paths, right?
Yeah, or like...
I follow you on X, so I'm like, oh, this is a cool girl that I've been following, like I want to bring her here.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
I meet a lot of people online like this, but it's always pretty isolated. I never felt like I miss community so much that I have to like really take it upon myself to like force myself into that group of people. So if it doesn't happen a little bit naturally, then I wouldn't do that. When people talk to me about the bear baddies all the time, like I said, are you a part? I'm like, no, I'm not. But now I'm be like, yeah, I know a couple people from it.
I guess it's like one of the things is however much you want to be involved, you can. We have so many different, like 30% of our community is net new to crypto, no on-chain transactions. But it's always been difficult because there's so many men that pretend to be women in crypto.
That is so crazy. Like, get them out of the group. Like,
Right?
honestly, that is so insane to me. You're not supposed to be here.
No, star verification always been meeting people in person or like doing a video call, which is like very hard to like actually like
Make
scale
happen.
it.
Yeah.
Because then if people vouch for other people, you never know. Like, what if I actually never met you or never had a video call and you snuck in and then you vouch for a couple other people, right? So it's something we've tried to take it really seriously, but it's hard because it doesn't feel as like open.
Yeah. What I've seen on X, people are interviewing for devs and they have this like AI filter that looks like it, you know.
Yeah, there's so much like, or those scams on Telegram where they're setting up calls and they're actually impersonating with an AI filter, whoever they're impersonating, and they're starting to look very real.
How about we close it out with we each say one word that would describe our Web3 journey overall.
Oh shit, I think that's it.
What would I say? Inspiring.
Wild.
Rewarding.
Fulfilling?
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming, everyone.
Thank you for the food.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
We had fun.
you.
Just say like where we can find you, your Twitter handle.
My Twitter is non-fungible K, and that's also my Telegram.
Mine is APT Alix. On Telegram, no, don't text me on Telegram.
Don't even sign yourself up for that.
She will not.
And mine is at Mariquita, so MAQUITA
And I'm at Kareem Burnett, both on X and Twitter. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for the convo.